One Saturday, Barbie and Nikki visited their favorite food truck, Chef Haley's Fancy Mac. Said Barbie, taking a big bite from her macaroni and cheese. This is so delicious. Barbie's best friend Nikki agreed. Chef Haley's Fancy Mac is the best, she exclaimed. It's so sweet and creamy. And I think I taste garlic too, Barbie guessed. You know what? Barbie said suddenly. I'm going to make Fancy Mac for us tomorrow. Nikki's eyes twinkled. Yum! Count me in. I'll bring Teresa. At the grocery store the next morning, Barbie looked at all the different cheeses. There were so many. Which one does Chef Haley use? She wondered. After a while, she chose Roquefort cheese, which sounded very fancy. At home, Barbie scrunched her nose. This cheese smells really strong. Maybe I picked the wrong one. She glanced up at the clock. Her friends would be over soon. There's a lot to do. Maybe when I mix in the milk, the cheese won't be so smelly, she said hopefully, and set the timer. When Nikki and Teresa arrived, they couldn't wait to taste Barbie's Fancy Mac. Teresa tried her first bite. It's creamy, she said, and then stopped smiling. Nikki tasted it forkful too. It's nice, she said unconvincingly. What, it's not good? Barbie asked. No, it's fine, Teresa said, trying to smile. It's interesting. Barbie took a big bite and spit it out immediately. This isn't interesting. This is terrible. It's not that bad, Barbie, Teresa said. I mean, it's really creamy. Maybe you just used the wrong cheese or something. Barbie nodded. There's more to cooking than I thought. Tomorrow I'm going to ask Chef Haley if she'll teach me how to make her Fancy Mac. The next day, Barbie explained to Chef Haley her Fancy Mac had been a failure. You use Roquefort cheese? The chef asked, surprised. A cheese with a fancy name isn't what makes my Fancy Mac so good. What does then? Barbie asked. If you come by the Horizon Senior Center, where I volunteer as a chef, I'll teach you the recipe, Chef Haley said. That would be amazing, said Barbie. Thank you. The next day, Barbie stood in Chef Haley's busy kitchen at the Senior Center. She was ready to start making delicious Fancy Mac. Barbie grabbed the wooden spoon from the counter. All set, she exclaimed. Not so fast, Chef Haley told her. Before you cook, bake, chop, dice, or boil anything in my kitchen, you need to know Chef Haley's kitchen rules. She pointed to a sign that hung above the ovens. Barbie studied it carefully. She saw that the rules were created to keep everyone in the kitchen safe. That night, Barbie went over Chef Haley's rules in her head. Then she read through the list of ingredients in the Fancy Mac recipe until she came to the words, spinach and onions. Spinach and onions, she said. That's strange. I don't remember spinach and onions. Then the recipe listed one bay leaf, and I'm pretty sure I've never seen a bay leaf in Chef Haley's Fancy Mac, Barbie said. When she felt like she knew the recipe by heart, she slipped the card back into her bag and turned off the light. The next day, Barbie recited all the rules to Chef Haley. Very good, said the chef. Here are the ingredients for the Fancy Mac. Do you remember what we do first? Barbie smiled. We boil the water for the pasta, she announced confidently. Are you sure? Chef Haley asked. It's okay if you need to look at the recipe. Barbie shook her head. That's okay, I know it. She replied. Wait, she cried. First, we preheat the oven, then we boil the water. Chef Haley grinned and motioned to Barbie to start. Preheating the oven, Barbie called out excitedly. Boiling the water for the pasta, Barbie announced next. Measuring the ingredients, greasing the baking dishes. Barbie felt like a real chef as she worked next to Chef Haley and her assistants in the kitchen. She stirred pasta in the enormous pot. Careful, Barbie said. Hot pot coming through. Barbie's favorite part of cooking was chopping the onions, even though the strong fumes made her eyes tear up. Do I look like I'm crying? She asked through the tears. Yes, you do, Chef Haley replied with a laugh. Chef Haley asked, what's the next step? I memorized the recipe last night, Barbie said. Barbie, you don't need to memorize the recipe, Chef Haley told her. Cooking is about taking your time and checking your steps along the way. Even I keep recipes right here in my apron pocket. Now, take a peek at your recipe and see what's next. Barbie relaxed and read the card. It's time to add the cheese, she announced. She and the assistant Allison added the pasta, poured in the mixture in the baking dishes, and sprinkled breadcrumbs on top. It's ready to go in the oven, Barbie announced. Are you sure, Chef Haley? Barbie checked her recipe. I'm sure. That smells delicious, Chef Haley said when they pulled the Fancy Mac out of the oven. Thanks, Barbie replied. And this time it looks just like yours. Let's head to the dining room then, Chef Haley said, and see if it tastes as good as it looks. Surprise! Barbie's friends shouted when she stepped in the dining room. Barbie gasped. What are you guys doing here? Chef Haley invited us, Nikki told her. We can't wait to try your fancy mac, said Teresa. Barbie held her breath as everyone took a bite. This tastes amazing, Barbie, Nikki exclaimed. Just then, Raquel, who was volunteering at the senior center, appeared at her table. What's this fancy mac that everyone keeps raving about, she asked. Why don't you try it for yourself, replied Barbie. Raquel took a bite of the fancy mac. She said and stopped. What is it, Raquel? Barbie asked. Raquel slowly opened her mouth and pulled out one bay leaf. Oh no, Barbie cried. I forgot to take out the bay leaf. Chef Haley leaned and whispered. No worries, Barbie. That happens to professional chefs too, myself included. Barbie laughed. Step 9, she read from the card, says remove the bay leaf. You can be a great chef, said Chef Haley.